In this example, I'll be demonstrating the most efficient way to set up your client CivilPro interface so you can see what you need to approve and what requires your attention quickly. So here we are in the CivilPro interface that you should have a login for. If not, you should get in touch with your contractor who manages the CivilPro database. But what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into a project, and you should see this within your project register on this front screen. By default, it is likely that the first page you land on will be the lot register. What we may want to do, or what you may want to do, is set that default landing page to your approvals register. In the approvals register, that is where you can easily see all of the hold points that are requiring your approval, any NCRs that are requiring your approval, or anything requiring approval on your part. So to do that, we navigate to the top right corner here and click on the icon. Click My Account. Then we navigate to Settings. And here we can change the Start Register. So this is the register that you'll land on when you open CivilPro. So if you'd like to just land in the register where approvals are received and approved, select the Approvals Register and click Save. So now if we navigate back to our project, we've landed in the Approvals Register. Now there's some other things in here that I have set up to further refine what I see within this register. And to note, this register behaves very similarly to an Excel spreadsheet. So if I hold Control and zoom out just to get a bit more on the screen here, I can see we've got a number of columns. What I've done here, the role that I'm currently in within this interface is the Principals Representative. So to make sure I only see approvals that are relevant to me, I have set a filter on this column to Principals Representative. To do that, we click on these three lines here and I'll select Principals Representative. Very similar to Excel. Similarly, at the moment, I'm only interested in approvals that are incomplete. So I have, in the completed column, selected only false, which means only things that are not in a complete status do I want to see. And with those two filters set and the relevant columns, I can see items that require my attention. And what I can do with this view now is I can click on the view settings here and save a view. In this view, if I save it as default, whenever this register loads, these filters will be applied. So feel free to set up filters as you wish. You can add further information by just dragging and dropping columns in as you wish and resizing. Once you've got the view that you want, you save that as default. So here we have got some of the approvals that have been requested of us. When an engineer requests a hold point, they will request it within CivilPro. It will send you an email notification with a hyperlink that comes back into CivilPro, and it will also appear within the approvals register. So to respond to this hold point here, I can click on this hyperlink within the approval register. I can see the subject of the approval. Here is an excerpt from the hold point within the checklist itself, along with some context on the lot in question and the ITP being used. Down the bottom here is an action log who raised the hold point request of myself, or of the client's representative in this situation. If I want to check the actual ITP or the checklist in context, I can click on this hyperlink here, and that will take me to the checklist. It will show what has been completed to date, and it will show the line item in question here. I can navigate back to get back to the approval. If there were any attachments, say a test request or photographs associated with this hold point release or this approval, I can click on the related items icon here, and here I can see attached documents that would appear in the file store here. If any NCRs or further lots were linked, to this approval, they'd be associated here, and we can click on those as hyperlinks. And down the bottom here is just notifications and emails resulting from this approval workflow. But if you've reviewed any attached documents here, we can click Action Step, and we're given a set list of actions as the client that we can nominate. Here is what those actions will trigger. So we can see this by clicking View Progress in the bottom left. Hold point requested. We are then going to assign one of these actions, and once we assign one of these actions, the status of that approval will be the next item in this chain. So if we approve it, the status of this will be approved. Similarly, if we reject it, the status will be rejected, and it will require the engineer to remediate the rejected item, and then it will go back to a status of hold point requested, and you'll get to reassess it at this stage. But for your response, you'll get given a set list of options here. So if you want to approve, if you had any further markups or attachments you want to add, you can drag and drop those here. And if you had any comments, you can add those here as well. And any comments will be tracked against that approval. So if I action this approval here, we can see the principal's representative's comments are listed against that action log list associated with that approval. But as a result of your action there, the contractor now has a tick of approval against that line item within the relevant checklist, and they will have a trace of that approval workflow here as well. So when that lot summary report is exported at the end of the project, or as it's progressively handed over, your approvals will be captured against those within that lot summary report, and will be able to be interrogated essentially, or audited. So that's the primary functionality that a client will have within CivilPro. So just to recap, once you've navigated within a project that you're associated with, an important thing to do would be to navigate to My Account, Settings, and setting your default register to approvals. And that means when you land into your project, you will be sort of faced with the approvals register, and if you've set up your custom views, it will show you just the things that you need to see or action on your screen here. At any time, you can access the Help Center yourself by clicking on this question mark icon here, or visit our YouTube account as well, and there are some worked examples of how to use CivilPro in there.